We are the owner's project managers. We were hired, I want to say 2 years ago, December. Is that about right? To manage the process of design and construction for the Hamilton Town Hall project. As you well know, this project has gone before town meeting and through various board approvals, and we are now at the point where they're looking for full funding for the project on a town-wide vote, having passed overwhelmingly at town meeting, what, a week and a half ago? Is that about right? So our thought is to do this as another public forum. Any other questions that need to be asked, we're available to try to answer them as best we can. We can also put up the presentation that was given at that special town meeting as well. I can share my screen if anyone is interested in seeing that. It actually is on the town website, and talking to Pat, who set that up. It's actually well done the way the links are to just the presentation, but also the financials and the tax burden as well. So it's different tabs for different portions of the presentation. I thought that was pretty handy to have. So you don't have to go through 26 pages just to find the one that is important to you, which may in fact be the financial component. So I think that's all I have. And if Mike, do you want to introduce the building committee or jump right into Drayton's?
Why don't we jump into Drayton's presentation, and then I'll introduce the committee and take any questions. And
okay. Drayton, you want me to just share my screen or make you a host?
It's up to you. If you want to make me a host, I can share my screen, and that way I can advance myself.
Yeah, I think that would be best. Okay, just a second. All right.
Okay, hopefully everyone can see that.
Yep.
Let's go to full screen. Awesome. So thank you, John, and thank you, Building Committee. My name is Drayton Fair. I'm with LLB Architects. I'm here tonight with my colleague, Mark Ritz, who's the project manager for the Hamilton Town Hall project. And we've been working on this project for about 2 years ourselves. We were hired by the town to assess the town hall building, to review with the staff and administration the needs of the town hall staff and public using the building, and study various scenarios for either renovation or expansion of the town hall building. And we've been through a number of different options over the last few years. As John mentioned, this is the presentation that has resulted in actually a contractor's bid for the project. So the financial information that you'll see at the end is based upon actual bids in hand for the project if it goes forward. But going through fairly quickly, when we came to the town hall, and as you know, the building has been in existence for 122, 123 years. It was finished, I believe, about 123 years ago last month. And it was dedicated 122 years ago, this coming February. So it has served the town well for many, many years. And there's a wonderful history of the town hall that's available to, I believe, all town residents. And there have been a number of different projects that have been ongoing with the town hall over those years, but for the most part, it has not changed in all of that time. The layout is basically the same. It has had some various repairs over the years, but again, it is very much the original fabric. Some of it is, of course, in disrepair. The cupola is one of the most obvious items that is in disrepair and has seen better days. The town has kept some of the detail work that has fallen off the building in the past. There are various areas where the wood on the outside has rotted a little bit. The porch, as you can see on the north side, is deteriorating. And on the interior, the town staff has grown over the years. Originally, this building was the town hall, literally, and the town building. It housed a library, a school, the town offices, and the large meeting hall upstairs, which served meetings in town, but also provided space for community events, dances, graduations, proms. But the staff has grown, obviously, over the last century, and there's a considerable amount of overcrowding and overloading that has taken place in the building. Particularly upstairs on the second floor, you can see that the mezzanine area is full of storage, of file storage. The large meeting room has been divided up into various office spaces that have really no sense of privacy. The acoustics of the room really mean that no one office has any sort of privacy, and there's a lot of echo and a lot of disturbance between the offices. The vault itself is very small, is not accessible, and is undersized and overstuffed. And offices have been put into very small, inaccessible areas. Another issue with the building is that, and I think that this was probably an innate design concern, in that the hall upstairs, the exterior of the walls of the building are actually sort of splaying apart, and that's because it's a very large space with a roof that has never really had the proper collar ties at the top. So it's certainly not in any imminent danger, but you can see from some of the from where they put in some of those office partitions that the walls have bowed out a little bit. And one of the items that's on the agenda for the restoration of Town Hall is to tie those walls together, not to bring it back together, but to keep it from getting any further spread in the future. So quickly, the building was never built for proper accessibility. Accessibility and building codes have changed significantly over the last number of years. So what the main thrust of the building will be is there's an addition on the rear of the building that'll provide grade level access and a new elevator that accesses all the levels of the building. The building now does not have an elevator, and the only accessible level of the building is that main floor via that ramp on the north side. So the elevator will provide universal access for the public as well as for the staff to every level of the building. Certainly, we'll be upgrading the building code compliance throughout the building. Right now, there's only a couple of restrooms on that main level. There are no restrooms on the second floor. The restrooms in the lower level need to be updated, so this will provide restrooms on every level. The entire building system infrastructure will be updated with all new efficient mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and information technology systems. And we've built in a number of different sustainable building initiatives, green building initiatives, if you will. We've added some insulation at the roof level. We're using water efficient plumbing fixtures, LED lighting throughout, and efficient HVAC. Of course, adding an entire sprinkler system to the building. So for the first time, the the building will be fire protected. Of course, reconfiguring the office space on the inside so that people have more efficient and enhanced private offices. There's limited site parking on the exterior. So with this restoration, we're restoring the entire site. That also includes updating the septic system for the building, as well as some of the site drainage for the building, and adding some enhanced landscaping and significant amount of parking as well. So, and the exterior will be completely repaired, restored, and preserved. We're putting in a new town vault on the lower level that will be much larger and handicap accessible. And we're going to be reusing the public meeting space on the second floor, so that area will once again be able to host public meetings. To just run through the plans a little bit, this is a site plan looking down at the property. As you can see, the plan will be primarily to use the way that the site works right now, and that you would come in off Bay Road. There would be parking in the back. If the new addition is back here, we will be building a new ramp around from the east of the building up into that north entry point, out of the building onto Bay Road here. The majority of the new parking will be down here in the southeast corner, taking over a portion of the DPW yard to add the required parking for the public meeting space. Enhancing the landscaping, as I mentioned, adding a fence along the neighbor's property. Two fairly large mature trees have been added to block potential views of a cell tower in the back of the property, adding a new electrical transformer for new electric service to the building, adding a generator so that the building can run during emergency events. And otherwise, sort of, as I said, cleaning up and enhancing the site. Walking through the floor plans a little bit, this is the main level. Again, coming up a new ramp and being able to access that door on the north side with the beautiful double stair hall that will be restored. The main corridors from the front of the building and the side will be preserved and restored and enhanced. They basically will stay virtually the same as they are now, just a lot, but quite fixed up. Most of the offices on the first floor remain in the same location. The town clerk will remain where they are now. The town treasurer remains where they are. The assessor and their department remains where they are. The major change to this level is
Jenny.
memorial room is, and where the back stairway is, that will now become the building department and the Department of Health. So in this arrangement, the main public uses, those offices that the public use most often, are now on this first level and fully accessible to the public. As I mentioned earlier, the new addition is in the back here with a brand new main entry here, close to handicap parking. Coming into this addition, the elevator is right in the center, and you can come up by stairs or by elevator to this main level, or go down to the basement or up to the second level. So quickly going down to the basement, either by stair or by elevator, the new vault will be here. Mechanical room will be used to house the new mechanical systems. Enhancing the restrooms on the lower level, providing some space for DPW workers during emergencies, providing a break room for town hall employees, and a new conference room on the lower level. moving to the upstairs, again, accessible via elevator or by stair. You would come into the meeting room area that has been mostly restored, basically where the egress door is now on that second level. The stage will remain and the proscenium arch will remain, and you can also come up to that stage level. The stage level will be a location of the town manager's office as well as the finance department. We did need to take up a bit of the meeting room space with new offices for the DPW, but we've been very sensitive in how those are designed so that they really sort of fit into the design of that space. As I mentioned, restrooms on every level will be provided. So the exterior from Bay Road will be restored. Again, we were very sensitive to the historic nature of the neighborhood and the building. The building is a major contributing building in the Hamilton Historic District. So the new addition really doesn't appear from Bay Road. So although it is designed to complement the historic architecture, it really was designed so that it would not really be seen from Bay Road. So as you can see in this rendering, it is on the southeast corner. The new entry is here right by the handicap parking. The new addition is very sympathetic to the historic architecture of the original building. And then the new ramp wrapping around the side of the building. So the existing ramp will be on the interior. A quick rendering of the view of the meeting room shows some of the restored features of that meeting room. Looking the other way, again, we were very sensitive to the design of that space. When offices were inserted into it, they appeared like they had always been there. Throughout the process, we and the building committee have met with a number of different entities, committees, community, state and local officials, including work very closely with the Hamilton Historic District Commission, the Planning Board, the Zoning Board. We met with the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board and a number of different boards and committees throughout the town. So we were thrilled to have all of their input. So where will all the town hall employees go while the building is being renovated? It will be closed for approximately 14 months. And we're going to be moving, the town hall employees will temporarily be moving to Pilgrim Hall. And we expect that would happen later this year, in a month or two, into January. The quick schedule sort of shows where we are right about now. The town meeting was here on November 14th. We did receive bids earlier in November. And that's where the financials that you'll see in a minute. We expect, as I mentioned, the employees to move into Pilgrim Hall in December and January, and then construction hopefully will start in January if it passes. A bigger picture schedule just indicates that, for the last couple of years, we've been working on this project with the building committee, going through program and conceptual design, schematic design and development, presenting at town meeting in 2019, and then working on the design development of option B through the first portion of 2020, and then the construction documents, and finally we are here at the end of 2020, hoping to move forward. This is the financials. Mike, I don't know if you want to take this or you want me to walk through this with people.
I can do it.
Great.
All right. This is the first segment of this is the owner's project management and associated soft costs, $609,000. It's the project management, the moving the temporary office fit out testing. There was the design selection process. A lot of upfront soft costs. The next section is a professional design services. This is your architect and also commissioning agent and some interior design work. That's $1,128,348. The hard numbers, the construction costs. This is all the building, all the work that goes into it, including the telecom, AV, furnishing, storage, insurance. That's $6,342,000. The total project before contingency is $8,079,348. There's a 10% contingency in this project, $807,935. The total project cost is $8,887,282. Our previous budget that we went to town meeting on approximately a year ago, we had forecasted based on going from option A to option B, and almost a $750,000 to $1 million uptick to keep the stairs and to go with option B. We set a budget of $9,708,000. When we bid this out, now these are hard construction numbers. So now we're $820,718 below that budget. So that is reflected in the $8,887,282. Any questions on that? This is the next part here. With the CPC is contributing a huge amount of money to this project. Initially, it was $75,000, and the town appropriated $100,000. CPC then appropriated $150,000, and then at the annual town meeting 2019, they appropriated $75,000 for the town appropriation. The CPC then awarded $250,000. Town meeting then 2019 was $467,767, which is basically your design costs. CPC now is contributing $3 million to this project, and the reason they're able to do this is because it is a historic building, a renovation of a historic building. If this was a new building, or if it was a demolish or build somewhere else, we would not be able to take advantage of this CPC funding. So this is a huge shot in the arm for this project. And also there's an insurance settlement for the cupola. And I believe it was, I'm not sure if it was hit by lightning or something happened to it. Anyway, there's $86,360 that's going towards this cost of the project. So our total ask right now to the town is $4,680,155. Okay. This is the cost to the taxpayer. So because of the CPC funding and money already funded, allocated by the town, we're looking at what the impact is on the taxpayer, the homeowner. So the rate it's at 20 cents per thousand. I believe it's actually going to come down a little bit from there, but that's the round number, 20 cents per thousand. For an average home of 613,400, you'll be paying $122 a year towards this project. The quarterly bill will be about $30.40. Okay. I believe that's it with the slides.
Sorry, Chief.
Okay. I guess it's a good time to introduce the people that were involved in this project. On the committee right now is Rosie Kennedy, who is a Board of Selectmen, Darcy Dale, another Board of Selectmen. We're lucky to have a direct connection. Jay Butler, he's our secretary, and also he's the chair of the CPC, another fortunate connection. John Pierre Manoir, he is a project manager in his work, and he has been on this committee since the beginning. Patrick Reffett, who is the head of the planning department. He keeps us straight in all the public laws and rules and regulations. Tim Olson, DPW director. He's been instrumental in a lot of the bidding process and selection. He's a big part of this committee. Jack Lawrence got on about a year ago. He's a former Board of Selectmen. He also has construction background. My name is Mike Toomey. I'm the chairman for the last couple of years, and I also have a construction background. A couple other people that we should recognize: Jeff Hubbard, another former Board of Selectmen. Allison Jenkins, Board of Selectmen. They attended a lot of the earlier meetings. They were actually on the committee, so they were a resource. Phil Stearns, he was involved. He's was on the FinCom. He actually chaired the FinCom, and he made almost every one of the meetings while he was an active member. Two other people that were instrumental in getting this project up and running and meeting all the requirements is Ed, the Hamilton Historic Committee, the interim. So they were instrumental in getting all the historic details and working with Drayton Fair and Company. Let's see, Ray Whipple, also the Hamilton Historic Society, and Anne Marie Cullen is now taking over for him. Our building inspection department, they also been involved in reviewing our drawings. Drayton Fair, who gave the prior rundown of this project, and Mark Ritz, who is his architect, I guess, project architect. And Design Technique is our Hamilton's or owner's project manager. That's Lee Sullenberger and John Sayre Savoni. So that is the whole crew. And with that, I guess, John, would you like to open it up for questions, or what would you prefer to do?
Sure. So my apologies to, I think, Peter Dunbar and also Joe as well for, I didn't see your names pop up on the come on in or allow you in. So Drayton has just gone through the presentation from town meeting, and then which we also notified you, the attendees, that it's actually on the town website. It's set up very, very well with links to the financials, the presentation, the tax rate impact. So the town has done a good job on posting this material. And then Mike did the introductions that you heard just at the tail end. And I think that's kind of where we are, the short version. So I guess if any of the other, I think there's maybe 5 or 6 others that are not on the committee or on the design and OPM team. If you have any questions about what was presented or anything else about the project, we will entertain them and answer them as best we can. And if not, we can get back to you. We do actually ask to state your name and your address, so we kind of can keep track of the ins and outs of where these questions are coming from to allow us to get back to you. So if that's okay. So any questions about project. It's been, I'll tell you a side note. Lee and I work a lot, do a lot of these public projects, and the town of Hamilton has got a great committee. They're very interactive with the architect and the design, and also very helpful throughout the whole process of value engineering, setting the budget parameters. Quite concerned about making sure we do this project appropriately, not with a lot of whistles and bells. But I think at the end of the day, you'll see the Drayton and Mark's exquisite design kind of shine through in the restoration of this building. And obviously the ADA access is pretty huge at this point. The ramps are on the outside, the elevators coming in, and access to the various floors, which had been an issue before this. So that's kind of what we have.
Okay, I have questions that have been asked of us, and I've been keeping track of them. And if you'd like, I'll go through them. There's quite a few, but we have responses to all of these questions. And these go back, some of them almost 2 years. So that might be a way to get some of this information or answer people's questions if you're agreeable with that.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. I'll go through them as quickly as I can. Total cost of the project again is $8,887,282. How much is the CPC contributing? This has been asked several times, and it's a huge amount. $3,475,000. The CPC is contributing to this project, and really makes this a very palatable project going forward, I think. How much is the town paying less CPC funds? The town will be paying $5,325,922. And right now, the requested amount, the balance of the project that we're asking the town to vote in on next Tuesday, December 3rd to Thursday, is $4,683,155. And then there was the question of the original budget. When we went from option A to option B, we had set a budget of $9,708,000. The other question was, what was the total design fees? $1,128,348. The other, why do we have an owner's project manager? Mass state law requires owner's project managers for projects of this size. And the question I've been asked repeatedly is, why is this project so expensive? The project is a big investment, like any construction renovation project. We've worked hard to keeping the costs in line and to meet all the code requirements and the needs of the town. And we think this is what we think is a competitive number, and we think that's it's a fair and appropriate number for this project. There's other projects in Topsfield. Their project was $9,859,000, and that was a couple of years ago. So you put 3% escalation on that. There's a couple other projects around this area too. They're all comparable. So we have looked at it. And there's another, why is this project a full renovation? People say, well, why are you doing so much? Well, the building code requires any building renovation where the work exceeds 50% of the total building area, the entire building needs to be brought up to current codes. The Architectural Access Board states that if the cost of the renovation exceeds 30% of the property's full value, then the entire property must be made fully accessible. So that's where the elevator comes into play, and there's so many things that the codes require, where full mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems are all being upgraded. And another one, a popular question, why didn't we build a new building? Did you look at building new? We looked at new, but our directive was to renovate the existing town hall. If the building was structurally not worth renovating and the building had to be replaced, demo costs and building a period correct replacement of the original structure would be more costly. We would also not be able to apply for the CPC funds, uh, which are, $3.5 million. So that's a big factor right there, if you take that CPC funding out of the equation. We also been asked multiple times, why didn't you look at alternative sites? We did, but we were instructed by the Board of Selectmen to try and do what we can with the existing structure. We looked at Patton Estate, we looked at downtown, we looked at private commercial properties in town. So we did look at it, and we stayed within the existing structure. Are you building for the future? Yes, we have a very energy efficient building. We have some additional program area for future addition. And if they had a large need for office space, they could add a structure on the other side of the elevator structure, the new addition, and that would be then the central point. So it is set up to add on if it was needed. Hopefully that won't be for a long, long time. Is there additional space built into the project? The only additional space is the elevator and stair tower. We've just made it more efficient. We've had several meetings where we had people inquire about the energy efficiency. We're insulating the roof with 6 inches of high density foam insulation. All the HVAC equipment is high efficiency with heat recovery units, and the lighting, that's all high energy efficient. Another subject that came up was the double stairs. Why are they still in the project? Well, the town meeting decided to support keeping the stairs, and that's what we had to work with. Is the building historically correct? It most certainly is, and we've spent a lot of time and energy, and Ed Howard and Scott Clemens, great to work with. They hung in there and presented us with a list, which we accommodated every single item, and we feel like we've met all their requirements, and we have what we would call a historically correct renovation. Are the handicap considerations included? Yes, we are compliant in every manner that you could. We are compliant. We were also originally tasked with taking off the old ramp, and we didn't think it would have to be put back on the building, but the codes require more than one means of access. So we have now built into the design, removing the non-compliant ramp and now winding that around the back of the building. And that will be a compliant ramp, and that building will be with 2 means of egress or access. The other part was, does the elevator service each level? Yes, it does. It services the basement, the ground, the first, the second, and the theater, or the stage area. So there's actually 5 levels that elevator will service. There was the question of why aren't we using the basement for offices? There were offices down there years ago, and it was just not a very friendly environment. It will be air conditioned and heated. It'll be very comfortable down there, but the directive was to stay out of the basement with offices. We do have one conference room, and there is a day coffee room there for the DPW, and there are some toilet rooms. With more than half of it is storage and the new vault. Another early question was why hasn't the 3rd floor been built above the 2nd floor ballroom? Well, we looked at this, and we had our architects spend some time at it and structurally to see if it could be done. It could, but it would infringe on some of the historical elements on the roof and the what's visible from Bay Road. Also the costs and the structural implications, it just didn't make sense. So we backed off from that. Another current thing is the COVID-19 safety measures. Are they built into the design? We don't know what's going to be required of buildings in the future. So no, there is nothing built into it. We have nothing to go by. We couldn't really anticipate what those requirements will be. But the premium for the construction costs to deal with the COVID-19 restrictions or accountability during construction are part of the project, and they are in the costs. So that part of it has been taken into consideration. Will town services continue during construction? Yes, absolutely. The Pilgrim Hall at Gordon Connell is very accessible. It's right off Woodbury Street, and it's a great option for the town and very cost effective. We're being charged $1 for that, so and it's a great site. There is adequate parking. There is more than enough parking there. Now, there's people have said, well, what are you doing to the town hall? Besides energy efficiency, we're putting a fire suppression system in. It's going to be handicap accessible. There's structural repairs, fully air conditioned, historically correct, large and more meeting spaces, individual department offices, updated and correct number of toilet rooms, new electrical system with 100% backup emergency power. There's more parking, and there's handicap usable sidewalks coming from Bay Road right down to the new entry. Let's see. How long will this concept meet the needs of the town? Well, that's a good question. It's met the needs of the town for 120 years, and we hope it'll meet the needs for another 100 years going forward. It's hard to say, but if this building is maintained correctly, it should last a long, long time. Has this project been reviewed by the Mass Architectural Access Board? Absolutely. Drayton touched on that earlier. There are multiple meetings and codes and requirements that have been taken into consideration. One of the things that we've been asked, now that the main entry is in the rear of the building, what happens to the front entry? So the main entry will be in the back at that addition where the handicapped access or access elevator is. The front will not be a regular point of entry. It will be used for ceremonial services, and it will still be operable. Also, I believe, Drayton, it'll be emergency means of egress or for exit if needed.
Correct.
Parking, I think there's approximately 34 additional spaces out back. So that's a big improvement. That's something that we've been dealing with for years, not having enough parking. And now that Bay Road is restricted with the curbs, it makes it even that much more important. We've been told numerous times that we've worked in a vacuum. Well, that's not true. We've had public meetings. We've had a liaison from the Board of Selectmen, I think, at every one of our meetings. They have relayed the information at the Board of Selectmen meetings. There's been repeated updates. There's been a survey in town looking for direction. We have had articles published in the Salem News and the Chronicle. So we feel like we've, between Facebook and all the media, that we have put this out, and if people are interested, they can find the information, as well as the town website. The cell tower impact on the town hall, we hope there is no impact. That is far enough out back. There will be some access during construction, but we hope that'll be scheduled and it shouldn't be an issue. We've been asked, are we paying a premium because it's a public project? We're going by the state of Mass rules and laws for procurement. The wage rates are set by the state and follow the current DCAM prevailing wage schedule for the town of Hamilton. It's the same requirement that every other town within the state has to follow. So no, we're not paying a premium, we're paying what the state mandates. We've been asked for cheaper alternatives. There are always cheaper alternatives, but based on what we were asked to do, we think we have the most cost-effective option in front of everybody right now. I have a few more here. Bear with me. Is a town hall being gutted? I think Drayton walked everybody through that. We're trying to save as much as we can, and we are moving walls where we can make more efficient offices. Does an addition make sense, and why is it being built? Well, we need square footage. We're trying to pack a lot in a small area, and the most cost-effective way is to build that small bump out, make it historically correct, and have the elevator and the stairs in there. And it's a nice, clean method of construction. It happens to lend itself to this project. Let's see. The CPC, of course, have been most generous in their allotment of money. We were also asked why we have no PM, owner's project manager, and that's any project over $1.5 million requires that. There's the area within the building. People are talking about how many square feet. The building and the new addition will total 14,317 square feet. The building currently is 12,367 square feet. The addition is 1,950 square feet. It's a total of 14,317. Are we adding any floors or levels? No. Why didn't the DPW and water department go off site? Well, the BOS asked us to keep, the Board of Selectmen asked us to keep it within the 4 walls, which we did. We did look at putting that off site or in the DPW garage and building it out. But we were asked to reconsider and keep that within the building. How many offices are there? In the basement, there's 1 conference room, no offices. The first floor, there's 1 conference room and 14 offices. The second floor is 1 large meeting space and 8 offices. There were approximately 9 offices in the original configuration. The conference rooms in the basement, there's one there for 329 square feet. The first floor is 113 square feet. The second floor, the large meeting space, is 1,422 square feet. There's also toilet rooms in the basement, first floor and second floor. There's also the humidity issue. We now have climate control, fully air-conditioned building, which will deal with the humidity issue, and it should keep that well in check. Some of the offices smaller. Yes, some offices are smaller, some are larger. We're going with we're working, Joe, I should say, is implementing a paperless initiative, and they're in the process now of soliciting people to help us with that. Also, the town meeting, we were asked why can't we use the ballroom for a town meeting? It's currently set up for 89 people, which is quite a large jump from where we are in the memorial room now. But no, the ballroom will only hold 89, and we need more than that for a town meeting. Is the building structurally sound? Yes, it is, but we're doing some code upgrades. But the building was considered to be structurally sound. Hazardous materials have been identified. They're minimal, and we have carried costs for removal. This has come up over in the past year. Why wasn't Doug Tree's concept taken into consideration? Well, it was taken into consideration. It deserves a lot of merit, but the cost of building a bigger addition and reducing upgrades to the existing structure just didn't make sense. This concept was also voted down at town meeting. So we received our directive from the town, and we were told to go forward with option B, which is keep the double stairs and add an addition on the back of the building. We were also asked why we didn't look at the patent estate. Well, we did look at it, but there are a lot of code issues there. The memorial room on the first floor, which is our current meeting space, That was dedicated, and we are going to decommission that. The American Legion is going to work with us on that, and we're going to rededicate the second floor ballroom as our new memorial room, and that will be there will be a rededication ceremony with the American Legion and in the future. Stage preservation, that is all intact. That's well done. The jail cell is not going to be preserved. We are keeping the jail cell door, and we will put that in a location near the jail cell so you can see where it was located. It's the only jail cell I know of with a window in it. So we won't miss it. Let's see. Since the file cabinets are being removed, the paperless initiative is underway. The DPW yard will be open during construction, and that will be part of the scheduling and the site logistics that our contractor will have to come up with a site logistics plan. And when that plan will shift, depending on how the schedule goes, the new vault will be in the basement. It'll be larger and it will be accessible. And the emergency generator, I think I mentioned before, it's 100% redundant. It'll actually flip on by itself automatically, and it'll maintain all the services within the town hall. So in the middle of the night, if we lose power or if we have a storm, that generator kicks on. It maintains all the electrical services to the building, communication, and for the HVAC. So that building will not, it won't freeze. It'll still be a climate controlled environment. And I guess that's about all I have. That's enough. A lot of questions and a lot of answers, and we tried to put some thought into each one of those answers. So if anybody has any additional questions, or if you require more information on something that I mentioned, please feel free to bring it up.
I have an aesthetics question, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I was just wondering, on the color scheme of the exterior of the building, will the color scheme be approved by the Historic Commission? And is it what we see on the rendering? It's like a cream on a white. It's white on white, or like a...
It's not necessarily what's seen on the rendering. I think that was taken from a little bit from what might be there now. What our intention, what we would like to suggest, frankly, is that we have the paint tested.
Yep.
And try to determine what the original colors were.
Yeah.
And now we do have some historic photographs of the building.
Black and white.
Yeah. Like many town halls especially in New England, after the City Beautiful movement in the late 19th century, a lot of public buildings were painted white. Mm-hmm. And that was really due to a design movement at the end of the 19th century that had nothing to do with the original colors. So many of these buildings had definitely were. And our initial suggestion would be to test the paint to see what the colors may have originally been, and then propose that.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
It was always referred to as the big white building.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it changed colors, but it did a few years ago. So it may revert back to the big white building.
It'd be pretty.
So that's our presentation. Does anyone have any questions that add comments to this discussion?
I'll make a comment. Jay Butler, Secretary of the committee. Just a comment to anybody who hasn't voted yet. I've already voted by mail-in ballot, and I just want to tell you that it's a single item on the ballot, and it's a yes or no question. So don't think it's a hassle. Don't think it's going to take a long time. It's very easy to cast your ballot for this, for the project, and a simple yes vote will do it.
Jay, can you tell me if there's a deadline for mail-in ballots?
Don't know. Don't know.
And Corinne's on, I don't know if Corinne's on the line.
So, John, this,
Hi, guys.
Hi,
Correct.
Corinne.
Hi, guys. Yeah, well, to request a mail-in ballot, I was hoping people could request it by tomorrow. But then the ballots themselves can be brought in right on election day, right up till 8 p.m.
Thank you. That's good to know.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you.
I believe this being recorded now, it will be available to watch again through the town website. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, that's the plan. Once we get the copy of the meeting from the OPM, we'll post it to the website and have a link to it.
Right.
Good. That's all I have, John.
All right, well, pending any other comments, questions, I suppose we'll sign off, and I've been told not to close my laptop until this program is downloaded. So we'll make sure that that happens. But Joe, I do want to let you know how much support we've gotten from the town, with Pat in particular helping on setting up the Zoom and the parameters. And we had a couple of discussions on our own Zoom call to go through it. So pass along my thanks to him tomorrow. So.
I will do. Thank you.
Very good. All right.
Thank
With nothing else, we'll adjourn this call.
Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.